Car chases are dangerous and unpredictable. Viewer discretion advised.
We are following breaking news in the Bellflower area where LA Sheriff's deputies are in pursuit of a robbery suspect.
That's right. You're looking at it right there. Sky 2 is over the chase right now in pretty slow traffic. We are hearing that pursuit, Pat, started in Lakewood.
Yeah, apparently, Wanda, began at a sunglass store, robbery, apparent robbery at a sunglass store. That's why LA Sheriffs are on this. Don't know if CHP is involved. We see this vehicle on the freeway, Wanda. I'm not exactly sure which freeway we are on right now.
Looks like it's the 110 North there, right at Manchester Avenue. And what a difference. Just a few moments ago, we saw this pursuit going at a pretty rapid pace here. And just right before we came on air, Pat, this car hit a big bunch of this afternoon traffic that we're seeing here in Los Angeles right now.
And believe it or not, maybe this happened on surface streets. We heard reports that this vehicle was involved in a number of crashes before, when this pursuit began. We also know that officers had pulled back and they were in tracking mode, maybe because of how he was driving. But we have Darren Wyatt on the line with us now.
Okay.
Hi, are you here?
Daryl, are you with us?
I'm here.
Oh, there he is. Hey, Daryl, so, we're looking at this pursuit, which we believe started out as a robbery at a sunglass store in Lakewood. They're now on the freeway in Bellflower and running into quite a bit of traffic. And he seems to be going in and out of traffic, not necessarily driving erratically, as we first heard when this started about 30 minutes ago.
Yeah, we do see the speeds picking up as traffic lighten a little bit. I've heard that the ground units have backed off and they're trailing by helicopter now. But apparently it was a robbery at a Sunglass Hut. Vehicle involved in several collisions during the pursuit, which is probably why the ground units backed off because of the danger.
So, Daryl, they pull off on the ground. That obviously gives this suspect an idea that he's no longer being pursued. But you were saying, obviously, the news helicopters are above. Police helicopters are also tracking. Any word on whether this car is stolen, if it does belong to the person who's driving it, or is that still kind of up in the air when it comes to these things?
Well, I think at this point, the last that I heard is that it's possibly cold-plated, meaning that they think that it's got a license plate from a different vehicle on it, which would be indicative of it being a stolen vehicle. But I don't think that that's confirmed yet. Once they get the vehicle stopped and can verify the VIN, the vehicle identification number, then they'll know for sure. But they're believing that it's been cold-plated.
Can you say that again? So it's cold-plated. That means when you basically switch the plate from one car to something else, right, to another car?
Correct, and it's very common for people who steal vehicles to take a license plate off of a similar vehicle. So in this case, another Nissan, put it on. But they're not as savvy as to know to make sure that they take one from the right year and the right model. Then when the police run it, they'll be able to tell that it's possibly not matching the vehicle that it's on.
All right, so they can possibly notice that from the get-go before they even run it. Okay, Darren, looks like he's making an exit now. From the right lane, that would be Gage Avenue, I believe. So now they're in Southeast Los Angeles. I'm trying to tell, Daryl, we heard that this vehicle was involved in several crashes. From what we're looking at right here, I can't really tell from this vantage point if that is the case. I'm trying to look to see if there's damage.
No, it does. If you look at the right front corner, you can see that the bumper is kind of swaying a little bit. So, yeah, there has been some front-end damage to the vehicle, which would be indicative of that. So that right front bumper is kind of tucked up underneath that right front tire there a little bit. Could be rubbing. It could cause some friction. We'll see how that affects the performance of the vehicle as this pursuit continues. Hopefully, now that they're back on city streets, we'll get some ground units back involved again. It's, this time of day when they get on these small city streets, it can be very, very dangerous.
Well, we're waiting for the car to pop out from under the 110 freeway, Daryl. We have no idea if he made a quick right or if he just stopped under you see the
black and whites that made that left turn?
Yeah, they did, and they've gone. We see the police units coming out from underneath that overpass, but I've not seen the suspect vehicle yet come out.
Is that
so
it,
I'm wondering
Darren?
if it's.
Oh, sorry. I thought there was a black vehicle. I thought that was it, but maybe not. There's ahead of that red car.
Too, because that is another Nissan.
Okay, so that's, we are guessing, but that's a pretty good guess, but we're just not certain right now. Don't have confirmation. All right, and then we've gone out to another shot. So, so Darren, when you hear this, give us just
is that it?
Is that it, Darren? No. That's not it.
It's not it. Okay.
Can you give us a scenario, since it's on surface streets, that what are officers hoping for here? That this person possibly slows down?
Well, not only that, but the danger at this time of day is that there's pedestrians and bicyclists and everybody out on the street at this time of day. And some of these neighborhoods, the streets are very, very narrow, barely enough room for a car to get through, with other vehicles parked, et cetera, on the sides, on the shoulders, et cetera. So the hope is that the suspect will just pull over, yield, and we'll be able to take them into custody. But when they get off the freeway at this time of day, especially when they're driving erratically and running red lights and just high speeds and not yielding to oncoming traffic, it makes it very, very dangerous.
Well, now that this pursuit is in tracking mode, and it looks like we've lost it as well, Sky 2 is scanning the area there, trying to look there on Main Street and 73rd, trying to see if we can find that car that's been followed by police for quite a bit here, and basically no luck with that. So going under that 110 freeway definitely gave him a little bit of the upper hand. We see there, Pat, does that look like
there are two black and whites there?
Okay.
So they're following something.
They're picking up speed there too.
They are, and hopefully they have their eyes on it. Of course, they're chopper from the sky.
No, they're looking still. I truly believe that the likely scenario is that he made a quick U-turn underneath that overpass before the ground units got on scene, and that one vehicle that Sky 9 was following in front of the red car.
Darren, we have him. Darren, that's him. I say him. I'm assuming it's a he on South Broadway there, really picking up speed.
I got it. Yep. Yeah, and you can see that right front damage as well. So that is the vehicle. Correct.
Well, that's some good work from Sky 2
there. If we can relay that, if we can relay that to LAS, Los Angeles County Sheriff, that would be good.
Well, hopefully they are picking this up on the scanner if they're not watching us and listening to you on Channel 2 right now. But he really is. You know what? You just said it, Darren. They're hoping that when you get in traffic like this in the middle of rush hour, you're in neighborhoods, and here he is. The speed seems to be picking up here. That's and a concern, of course, for law enforcement.
Yeah, 70 miles an hour, passing on the right side, passing in the left turn lane, passing all over the place. It makes it very dangerous. And these drivers that are unsuspecting have their radios on, maybe talking on their cell phone, and are just unsuspecting. And all of a sudden, this vehicle comes up behind them. Now let's see if we. Okay, he did come out underneath there. Another right turn there. And now you can really see that damage to that right front part of the bumper.
It looks like he's getting back on the 110 freeway there, Darren.
Freeway. Yep.
So going southbound now. All right. Well, he's got to know. I mean, you would think that they're not in tracking mode anymore. Would you say that, Darren, that they now know where this vehicle is and have picked back up in terms of making this a pursuit as opposed to just a follow or tracking the suspect?
I would certainly hope so, but if we pull out on a wider shot, I don't think we're going to see any ground units. Hopefully the helicopter has picked it up and gotten back overhead.
Well, let's hope that's the case. The good thing is we now have located this pursuit suspect once again. 110 freeway passing Century Boulevard right there, and some medium traffic, not too heavy right now. And let's not forget, when he was on surface streets, a lot of kids are back in school. There's a news van that this car is going right by there and just trying to get around and get out of those carpool lanes, those fast track lanes.
Yeah, now he's driving in the center of traffic.
Yeah, in and out of traffic again. It looks like close to 100 miles an hour at one point, slowing back down. Now he's a consistent 90 miles per hour, passing everybody. Now again, in and out of traffic, weaving around. Fortunately for everybody, it's a car with a lower center of gravity, so these rapid moves aren't going to be as drastic and as they won't be as difficult to control as if he's in an SUV or a larger vehicle. But still, anything can happen when you're going these speeds and making these very quick, evasive moves.
And he is too. We haven't been able to confirm if that's more than one person in that car in terms of how this started. An apparent robbery at a sunglass store in the city of Lakewood, and now they're in South Los Angeles, heading southbound on the 110 freeway. making some pretty erratic moves there, I would say, Darren. He's picking up speed now and going in and out of traffic. And the reason I guess I mentioned is that one person in the car, because normally when we talk about robberies and we talk about suspects, it's more than one.
That's right.
One person.
And it looked like earlier he had a chance of either staying on the 110 or jumping onto the 105 freeway. So not quite sure what he's going to be doing here. It looks like he's going to stay on those express lanes, which of course have fewer cars on it at this time of day. Still 110 freeway southbound at Harbor Gateway there, picking up speed. If our speedometer there is correct, Darren, look at that, 108 miles an hour. Wonder if that's accurate.
You can see when he goes over little bumps how the back end is bouncing up and down too. And if he gets going too fast and hits the right bump, he could very easily lose control, which could be drastic and devastating.
Oh, look at that!
Look at
this, all the way over from the onto the right shoulder.
You had asked earlier, Darren, if we can possibly do a wide shot to see if law enforcement is behind him, because for some reason
there's the wide shot coming.
Don't really see anybody, Darren. At least they're not close, because I'm just asking that question because of how they picked up speed all of a sudden.
Yeah, I thought I saw a brief glimpse of the helicopter shoot underneath the bottom of the screen, but I'm not sure. You know, the other thing that we haven't talked about yet is was this an armed robbery? Was there a firearm used in the commission of this robbery? Many times when you're talking about a robbery of a store like a sunglass set, they're what we call Estes robberies, where they're it's physical force that's used. So they'll try and steal something, an employee will grab onto them, they'll use force to get away. That then makes it a robbery, but there's no firearm used or a knife or any kind of weapon used. We don't know that at this point, but the officers have to assume that there was until they know that there wasn't a weapon involved.
And tell us how that makes a difference just in terms of how they handle these pursuits, Darren.
Oh, it certainly does. It has a very profound impact on the tactics involved when it comes to terminating the pursuit. Obviously, at these speeds, you're not going to be able to use a spike strip. You're not going to be able to use a pit maneuver. But if they got off the freeway and were at speeds that would allow for those techniques to be used, if they knew that there was a firearm involved, they'd probably be more hesitant to engage and to force a confrontation that could result in the use of deadly force. Obviously, the goal in any of these situations is to take the suspect into custody with everybody's safety in mind, the officers, the public, and the suspect. But we have to take all of that into account when we're engaging in these behaviors.
And it looks like, Darren, he's jumping onto the 91 westbound right there at Vermont and Artesia Boulevard. So he's going from freeway to freeway, doing his best to stay out of heavy traffic, which it looks like he's doing right now.
And you know, he was on the 91 earlier. He was on westbound 91.
Okay.
Yeah, he was approaching
so he's looping around.
Bellflower. Yeah, Darren, do you see a pattern here? Juan just said it.
Yeah, you know, we're kind of staying in that same area. You know, many times when we see this, they're on city streets and staying around certain neighborhoods, but he's staying around the same general geographic area as if he might be familiar with those areas. But are we getting off again here?
Yeah, off on Main Street, it looks like, Darren.
We just saw black and white behind him, though.
Okay, I just saw a unit. Yeah, that might have been a highway patrol unit.
And there's that front damage. Our viewers can now really see it there, that front left tire. Just how badly damaged the bumper is from apparently bumping into some other cars as he was trying to get away from police. Yeah,
actually the right front, the passenger side.
The passenger front, yes.
Was damaged, yeah.
Now, Darren, you mentioned you thought that was a CHP vehicle. You know, we've said this over and over again. Okay,
straight through the red light there. I almost had a collision there.
Oh, wow. So really getting more desperate. But we did see that black and white behind him. You suspect that was a CHP vehicle, which they could possibly have been asked to join this when they were on the freeway, when he was on the freeway.
Absolutely. They could have. And if that request had been made and they got off on the city streets, I believe the CHP would still honor that request. But they might have been set up waiting and the request hadn't gone through yet, at which point we wouldn't see it. Another right turn here.
On Walnut Street and South Alley in Compton.
Okay, if we get into a residential neighborhood, we're going to be back into those very tight spaces. But here,
they're right behind them.
70+ miles per hour.
Yeah, I was going to ask, now that he became a little bit more erratic, that would definitely cause the watch commander, for example, whoever's in charge, the lead officer, to re-engage this suspect, right?
Yeah, and that did not look like a CHP unit. Either LAPD or LASO is probably who it is. And if they
look at that.
Whoa.
It almost looked like they were trying to
pit, right?
At that rate of speed.
Well, if they had slowed down enough, he was under 35 miles an hour at that point. So that is highway patrol. It is the highway patrol.
Yep.
But now he's picking up speed again. And as you mentioned, in a residential neighborhood, this is pretty dangerous.
Still in Compton there.
Crazy speeds for this amount of traffic on this roadway. But the CHP is very, very skilled at these pursuits. They're one of the agencies that really it's their bread and butter when it comes to these high-speed pursuits, especially when it comes to utilizing pit maneuvers. So if they can get into a position again where they can try it, the speeds get low enough.
Then they wouldn't hesitate to. Boy, that was very close. Look at the CHP.
Yeah.
Okay, they're getting close. They're really picking up speed now as well.
Did you see that? Yeah, they were paralleling.
Yeah, they were paralleling him.
Yeah,
and then
they're on the opposite side of the road, which is, that's a sheriff's unit that's directly behind him now. It was a CHP that was paralleling on the other side. But, yeah, this is LA Sheriff's. It's behind him. You can see the star.
And LA Sheriff's also equipped for the pit maneuver, Darren?
Absolutely, yeah. In 2022, I doubt that there's
look at this.
Very many patrol officers that are not.
Oh, look at that.
It's got traffic.
He's jumping on the little bit of a sidewalk that's there, Darren, and he's coming to a stop.
I've got a little bit of a delay.
No, he's going to get in front.
Yeah, you got a little bit of a delay there. You'll see it in just a second.
Yeah, here we go. I've got it.
What, is that a rim?
And he kept going.
There's a rim that just came off that. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Look at that, squeezing his way through traffic.
Yeah. They just lost a rim.
Wow.
Yeah, it's actually the hubcap that came off, not the rim.
Hubcap.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, Darren, if my husband was sitting here talking with you, he would have known that.
Look at this,
sorry.
Nowhere to go now.
Well, now we can also see that left front damage.
Yeah.
It looks like when he probably hit that wall as he's going through. When he went up onto that sidewalk, he probably hit the wall, and that's what caused that new left front damage.
I was going to say, because we didn't notice that before. It wasn't.
There it is again.
There it is.
Yeah.
Oh, we're speeding it up.
Incredibly dangerous in and out of this traffic here.
Back on 91.
Looks like he's getting back on the freeway.
Yep, on the 91 East, Darren. Which, all right, so certainly CHP is still engaged.
On the shoulder. Oof.
Some really crazy moments unfolding right now. A Sky 2 above it all, and again, hitting some heavier traffic, and this driver just doing anything he can to wiggle his way out of the this heavier traffic now in the carpool lane.
Scraping cars.
Yeah, and guys, you saw him on the shoulder there. We don't know. There's all kinds of debris on those shoulders that could cause a puncture in the tire, and at those high speeds, he could lose control very, very quickly. And there's just so much traffic out there that it's very dangerous.
Well, they're right on his case on the eastbound 91 freeway in the city of Compton. And Darren, we're assuming that CHP behind him, or is that LA Sheriff's?
That SUV is LA Sheriff's. I believe that we did see a CHP cruiser engaged as well, but I don't know if they're still there.
Well, we've seen them, Darren, stay in the city of Compton there. When they do the switch out, is that because they go from a city street back onto a freeway, or is it just giving officers a chance to just kind of, take a break and then, re-engage later?
Well, it could be, especially with LA Sheriff's jurisdiction, that they've gone from one station's jurisdiction to another and they pass it off. With the CHP, they go from one station to another. When they get on and off the freeway, typically CHP will take over, but if they get off the freeway and CHP is engaged, they'll typically stay with it as well. But looks like we're off the freeway again.
He lost another
in the Compton area.
Another hubcap.
He lost another hubcap there, Darren.
Yeah,
and now he's getting back on the freeway.
Yeah.
Looks like it. Well, he's on Artesia Boulevard right now.
If we could get a unit close enough to stay close enough with him when he slows down at those turns, we could engage in a pit maneuver. But he's just so erratic that it's difficult for the officers to maintain their awareness of public safety and stay with it to stay that close. But
I always say now.
Yeah, now west on the 91.
We're looking at these stolen vehicles. When you look just how banged up that car is, just in the last 30 minutes that we've been, actually 18 minutes since we've been talking about this, you know, that's your car. You're thinking.
It's a hot mess right now.
Yeah, you're very sure.
You know, that's a good point, because a lot of agencies won't pursue nowadays for just the stolen vehicle for that very reason. You know, is you tell the public, yeah, we've recovered your car, but it's totaled. So what does that do for them? This case, we have a violent crime, a robbery, and potentially a stolen vehicle. So they are going to pursue, and we're seeing that now. But again, almost 100 miles an hour on the freeway. In and out of traffic, making some very quick maneuvers, exiting again now here. It looks like, is he
Avalon?
On Avalon?
Yes. Which is, as you mentioned earlier, Darren, this is familiar territory, obviously, because this person has stayed in the same, correct? He's been on the eastbound 91, gets back on westbound 91, comes up on surface streets for a bit, and then continues to get back on the freeway. But now he is on East Artesia, well, just turning. I think he's on South Avalon. Did he just turn off Artesia?
Looks like it.
Yeah.
And again,
and again through a red, but we can see damage to the right rear now too. If you saw him getting off the freeway there, that kind of the right rear bumper was fluttering as well. So this car does have damage all over the place now from all of these little collisions. Fortunately, it doesn't seem that he's been in a collision that has been serious enough to injure anybody. But right there, straight through again against a left turn arrow that was opposing traffic. And still continuing and gaining speed again very, very quickly. You know, getting from 30 up to 75 miles an hour in just a matter of seconds.
Yeah, and all these little collisions add up in charges, don't they, Darren? I mean, if you're one of those people who get sideswiped by a pursuit suspect, it's probably a good idea to reach out to police and let them know that you were part of this situation as quickly as all this unfolds, right? Yeah,
absolutely. Collisions are, I mean, they're nothing compared to what he's going to be facing for the danger of the pursuit.
Right.
The little collisions.
Look at that. He's on the wrong side of.
Yeah.
Well,
those would be misdemeanor hit and runs, but you know, what they do is it helps to show the wanton disregard for public safety, which will turn this into a felony evading arrest. So he's got the robbery, and we've got a felony evading arrest, and then all these other little lesser included defenses that go along with it.
All right, and we're assuming LA Sheriff's is still behind this vehicle. We haven't seen a shot lately that shows them close behind, but we know they're following overhead, and we do know CHP was involved. Yeah, I don't see them right now, Darren. They may have pulled back and still following from the air.
Yeah, I've seen the helicopter come through a couple of shots, so we know that they're there. It's likely that the watch commander has probably pulled the ground units back off again. You saw that right through another red light again, and went through on the right turn lane only. Now through the center divider, through left turn lanes, with vehicles stopped, and he's going 60 miles an hour. So if somebody was to turn in front of him, it would be, you know, a catastrophic collision.
Yeah, we hope that does not happen. That's the thing.
That's for sure.
And even talking about these kinds of things, we never like to see it end with certainly injury to another person, an innocent person out there for sure. This person is, you know, basically he's doing what he wants to do, trying to get away from law enforcement, which does not happen at the end of the day. We're just hoping that this happens or this ends in a peaceful manner, or at least the person is just given up without, you know, doing any further damage, which this person has already done. We've seen a number of vehicles damaged by this driver. In fact, he went up on the curb.
Oh,
all right.
Oh, that was very close.
That's one of those collisions that you were just talking about, Darren. We're glad that didn't happen, but that was certainly a possibility.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and kudos to these people that are driving defensively and with their head in the game, because they're the reason we haven't seen a collision, not this idiot.
Yeah, definitely a good idea to always stay alert and drive defensively, because you never know when one of these things are going to come your way. And look at this, just up and over the double yellow lines into oncoming traffic, doing everything Pat was just mentioning, almost hit that car in the intersection. And doing it at very high rates of speed on surface streets. Again, very dangerous, going right through all these intersections there in Compton in heavy traffic.
Oh, just drive
it. And you got to wonder, you know, is this person wanted for more than just this one robbery? Yeah. Is this person wanted for a series of robberies, maybe even something more serious? Is it a career criminal that knows that they're going to be going back to prison for the rest of their lives? You know, the recent court decision about the 3 strikes law and everything else. So we just don't know. But you know, he's laying it all on the line. He or she
for
is
laying
it all on the line right now.
Like you say, it's got to be more than that. Because remind our viewers again that this started out as an apparent robbery at a sunglass store in Lakewood. And now we have morphed into this, where this person has driven up just a number of charges, felony charges, has really damaged this vehicle, the vehicle that apparently is stolen, and a number of other vehicles where this guy just tried to get out of traffic and just scraped vehicles as he, you know, try to get by a curb on the freeway. He's just really driving erratically now, and we're just hoping that this will come to an end without further damage and certainly without injury to innocent drivers out there. But we've seen a near miss, if you call it that.
Yeah, several times. Here he is again. Look at that, right in front of a big rig, just crossing in front of that very large vehicle. And
yeah. And again, based on the totality of the circumstances here, it looks like the Sheriff's Department has pulled the ground units back just because of the danger of this pursuit and not wanting to press this driver on even to be even more erratic. It doesn't look like that tactic has actually worked because he's still driving in a very reckless manner, but they can at least say that they weren't driving into it.
And you know, and the thing is, again, we know that they follow from the air, and they're in contact with other jurisdictions. In fact, would you say, Darren, on the ground, like in neighboring communities, like be on the lookout? We're watching for this guy with this license plate driving very
absolutely
dangerously.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, all of the surrounding cities and jurisdictions know what's going on. They're in communication with the LA County Sheriffs. Their Air Bureau is probably in contact with the CHP as well as LAPD's air units to let them know. At some point, that helicopter is going to have to break off with fuel, depending on how long this goes. And before they do, they'll have another helicopter be on standby and in position to take over. You know, same with the ground units. As if somebody is getting to the point that they need to back off or they need fuel for their vehicle, they'll have it well coordinated in advance to have somebody else come and step in.
Yeah, no doubt. We've been watching some very dangerous driving this afternoon here, mostly in the city of Compton. Now it looks like he's in North Long Beach, Pat. On surface streets, still driving at about 70 miles an hour there on surface streets. And
we want to remind our viewers again that this started about 4:45 p.m. I believe that's when we have the call, according to our assigned parent. Possible robbery at a sunglass store started in Lakewood. This person has been driving on the 91 in both directions, the 110 freeway. Now, in North Long Beach on Artesia Boulevard, as Juan mentioned, he seemed to stay in the southeast Los Angeles area from Bellflower, Lakewood, Compton area.
That's right.
But he has done damage to this apparently stolen vehicle on both sides of the vehicle, lost parts of the car. Something else just happened there, Darren. You see smoke coming out from behind this car?
He's in the bike lane there.
You see that smoke, Juan?
I think that, no, it's debris. It's debris, dust and debris being thrown out. That's what I was talking about earlier, is the fact he's actually in the bicycle lane. But there's so much debris in those lanes that he can get a flat tire, and at those speeds lose control very, very quickly.
Look at this.
It almost looks like he nudged that little red car there to get
out of the way.
Yeah.
Through another red light against traffic.
Yeah, he's just driving really fiercely with no regard to anybody else that's on the road. As you mentioned, Darren, I noticed that too.
Back on the freeway now, Pat.
Yep, nudging that car as if to say, get out of my way, or I'm going to try to drive right through you, as we have seen him do throughout the pursuit that we've been on since 5 o'clock. Now he's back on the 91 East in Long Beach. Possibility, Darren, what could happen here? If the CHP want to re-engage, or if the Sheriff's Department asks them to, they could.
They could. They most certainly could. And I think that the CHP would do that more quickly than a municipal agency off of the city streets, because we have liability issues there. If one agency has terminated the pursuit on city streets, and then somebody else engages and something bad happens, it could be increased liability. So the likelihood is that unless it slows down and unless the driving becomes less erratic, you're going to continue to see it being trailed on the ground and pursued by air, unless CHP gets involved on the freeway. I think it's certainly a possibility that we see that.
Right. And the heavier traffic, of course, basically removes the pit maneuver from a technique to end this pursuit, because we are seeing a little heavier traffic here on the 91.
It does. However, if they get bogged down in traffic and there's a way for them to block him in, that is certainly a possibility. We've seen that happen before. It's not a preferred tactic, especially when we don't know if he's got a firearm or not. But you know, when you're looking at everything in perspective and how dangerous this is, it needs to come to an end, and that might be something they would look at utilizing to bring this to a successful conclusion.
Well, he's tugging that right lane again. Makes you wonder if he's going to make another exit off the freeway. Well, all right, as we speak, looks like that's what he's doing.
Pat, I'd like you to use your crystal ball and tell us where it's going to stop now.
I wish I could, Darren.
If we only knew.
I wish I could. You know, I almost want to say soon, but I think that's just wishful thinking. But I've just noticed, you know, he gets... All right, now he's making another turn. He makes these turns and goes on these side streets.
Is this down an alley now, or
down in Norwalk? Is he slowing down a little bit, Darren? What do you think is happening here?
You know, maybe he's looking for a place to bail, and who knows? Maybe the car is running out of gas. We don't know. We certainly don't know what the condition of the vehicle was when he got it. He or she. We keep saying he, but it could be a she. We've seen that happen many times before as well. But, you know, the speeds have been drastically reduced, and he's kind of going in a little circle here. So let's see how it plays out.
You know, Darren, when you see a vehicle like that, he pulled in that parking lot for some reason, went down that alley. It almost looks like when they do that, possibly looking for a place to bail or to stop, or they feel almost cornered, you know, because you think of a reason why would they make that particular turn.
And we haven't seen him pop out yet, Darren, off the freeway there.
Yeah, so has he made another U-turn? Is he bailing out on foot underneath there, you know, try and, you know, get away on foot? There's been room for him to get out if he wanted to. Doesn't appear that traffic would be holding him there.
All right, have we found we're looking for the vehicle again?
Well, there are some people there on the sidewalk
running. There are a couple of people running.
Is that the driver? Did you see the pedestrian in the block right there?
Yeah.
Okay, now there's another one.
I see two.
And he's running. Okay, that looks like a male and a female.
Right there on the crosswalk, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks a little agitated. Look, they're kind of, what do we do here?
Yeah, this is the downside when you don't have ground units right on them.
Right.
But yeah, I'm betting this is them.
Oh, we understand that they do have a male detained on the underpass, Darren, and they're looking for these two, the ones that we see right here.
Okay.
They're looking for them. They have one detained.
So the good news is that the
so
pursuit
there was
part
more
of
than
this
one person
could be over, right?
Yes. Yeah, we're looking to hear that the pursuit is over. So this person is walking just very slowly and casually, which earlier, just moments ago, we saw the friction between him and it looked like a female, correct?
Arguing there in the crosswalk as to what to do. She went back to the car, it looked like, and he just kind of, as Pat was saying, just wandered off, and it looks like
he's looking for a place to hide here. You know, you see him with his hood on. He's going to go back underneath the trees, hopefully where he's thinking that the helicopter can't find him. But we need to get some ground units over there with a canine quickly.
Oh, that would do it.
That would definitely do it.
That looks like it's a residence, so there could potentially be people in that
There are
house.
officers showing up there.
Yeah, we've seen...
Okay. Yeah, so we need to return.
Yeah, we need to direct some units to stay on that off-ramp for the freeway there to set up the perimeter.
And there's just so many trees there, Darren, so much brush there that kind of creates a block for that homeowner of the freeway off-ramp. It could be anywhere under there.
If the helicopter can pan out, and keep an eye to make sure he doesn't get out of there underneath those trees, because they're going to be there and set up a perimeter now, and they'll start doing a search there.
They're definitely on.
There's something on the roof there.
Yeah, I thought I saw a little dog.
A cat or a dog. Yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah. And somebody's pointing.
Okay.
They know who
it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, look, they're pointing their guns.
Here we are. Yeah.
Well, let's see if he's going to listen and come on out with his hands up
peacefully.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we need Fido to come.
The canine.
That will help get him out.
That helps speed things up. Yeah.
Well, I think that was a dog.
That was a little cat. It was a little cat.
A little cat. All right. Yeah. So we suspect that this suspect is somewhere in those trees, hiding behind the shed.
Yeah, and I think they see him because they're very focused on that area right there. So they'll be calling to him, giving him commands to get him to come out.
Mm-hmm.
With his hands up.
It's interesting, no more officers have joined these two to get this suspect into custody here. They must have a. Well, they're kind of looking in different directions there.
Yeah, I don't think they see him. I don't think they see him. They know that he's somewhere over there, but they're searching right now to see. This is very, very dangerous because if he's armed and decides that he wants to engage, he has the advantage.
Okay, look, they're motioning, I think, to other officers.
You see that, Darren?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there's another officer who's joined. And hopefully this suspect won't just start running.
Oh, looks, there he is.
There he is.
Hands up. Yep, same guy we saw on the sidewalk there, Darren.
Yep. Beautiful.
Is there something he's holding in his hand?
He had his cell phone.
He had his cell phone. He had his cell phone. He's still on his cell phone.
That's right. He's still got something in his hand.
Okay, well, this is good. Whoa.
Well,
in custody.
Wow. So Darren, okay, thanks for walking us through this. And what we have seen, this is one person, one suspect. Mm-hmm. We don't know if he was the driver or not. We understand that two other people, we saw the female earlier, were taken into custody under.
Right. She was arguing with the man that we just see getting arrested now. Apparently, we were told by our desk that somebody else was detained under the overpass. So it looks like there may have been 3 people inside that car, Pat.
And, you know, Darren, it was just pretty wild to see those two, like young people, arguing with each other about what to do. Possibly the female say, hey, I'm going back, you know, maybe turning myself in. Yeah. There we go.
There they are.
On the right side of your screen, that's where they're arguing.
Look at those hand motions.
Yeah.
That says it all.
She's walking away, and he's going to continue and try to walk as if he's a casual pedestrian just walking through the neighborhood.
Why is it always the woman that has the most common sense?
Oh, they're chasing the woman now, we understand, Darren.
What
so
did you
things are changing.
But what did you just say, Darren? Why is
what? I thought that she was going back. Why does the woman always have the most common sense and go back? But if they're chasing her, I guess you changed your mind.
We're just being told by our producer here that she's being chased. So didn't end as quickly as we thought.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. At this time of day and as warm as it is outside, you see he either had, it almost looked like he had a ski mask on, at least a beanie or something covering his head.
Yeah, no doubt. It has been warm these days. Yeah.
It looked like he had a mask on or something of that nature. There's a lot of officers out there now. So if this is the latest, they are apparently still looking for the female. We do not have word that she is in custody.
Or it could be that they have her and they're looking for somebody else.
Okay. That's true. 3 people, I believe?
Yeah, and we never got 100% confirmation of the amount of people inside that car. We're guessing 3, right, based on what we've seen.
Well, we saw 2. We don't know if it was accurate that they were detaining somebody underneath the overpass when the 2 were out or not. We just don't know that.
We understand that there she is. They're taking the female in custody now. You see her, Darren?
Not yet. I've got to start. Yep, there we go. I got her.
Yeah, they're looking in her back pockets and just kind of going through her pockets right now.
Black sweatshirt of some kind. So they have her in custody.
Right there on Indiana Avenue.
Right. We still have to confirm if it's 2 or 3 people.
I don't know that that's the same person.
Right.
She looks lighter skinned. If we could go back to the earlier shot when they were together at the corner.
Yeah, she does look a little different, and she has a face mask on, which she didn't have earlier. So,
a face mask having to do with COVID.
COVID, yeah, one of those.
Well,
well, we're thinking. I mean, it is a face mask.
Yeah,
that covers the mouth and nose. The guy that they took into custody, he seemed to have a bigger, almost like a ski mask.
Yeah.
Correct.
That looks like, well, that same emblem on the back, that looks like the woman that was at the intersection. Okay. Well, Darren, we're going to call this.
Thank you so much, guys. Have a great evening.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay.